Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to share 5 or 6 principles, spiritual principles that I've learned along my own journey that can help you navigate the choppy times in which we live. We're transitioning from one era to the next. A lot of mystics had predicted this time of great change. And so those of us who may not have been aware or prepared can be taken aback by what's going on in the world. And all of us are challenged, are anxious, and are wondering what's going to happen next. So some of these tips might help you navigate these times with more ease and more confidence. The first one is about surrendering control. That's a hard one. We might be used to controlling all the details of our lives, whether it be work, our relationships, our home. And now we have to surrender. We have to trust that something good is going to happen, that we are in good hands. We are in the hands of a benevolent universe. And so at this point, it's doing more harm than good than trying to control our circumstances. So just go with the flow and take this time out as a reset in your life. Perhaps journal things that you've always wanted to do, clean out your closets. It's a great time to pick up clothes that you don't wear anymore, that you want to donate to charity. It's just a good time to reset and rebalance, to reboot your life. This is what springtime is all about. And so that when we come out of this period, when we come out of this dark place, you'll be in a better position to move forward. The other tool is having compassion. Perhaps you're losing your marbles, you're losing your patience about being cooped up inside, being stuck inside, you're not used to being confined. And so you might find yourself lashing out to the grocery person who's delivering your groceries, or your family, your kids. You're not used to living so close in such tight quarters. It's very important to react with compassion. There's a sutra in the Sutras for the Aquarian Age, which is basically a one-liner that is a spiritual rule that says that in these times of great change towards the Aquarian Age, where we're heading, it's very important to understand and act with compassion. Otherwise, you will misunderstand the times. So if you're feeling triggered for whatever reason, just take a breath, go for a short walk if you can get out. If not, go on your balcony or just take a bath, take a shower, and just understand that this is a time where a lot of things are resurfacing, are coming to the surface to being addressed, whether it's wounds, childhood wounds. We have our own wounds, and then we have the collective wounds of the planet, of the collective. So understand with compassion, no matter what's going on in your life and with whom. The third point is to be generous. So if you find that someone is struggling, your neighbor needs some food, the more you give in life, the more you receive. I know that on my journey, I have given and I've given, but I have received so much. Whether it's giving out books to people that couldn't really afford it, free talks, free conferences, some help to people who are really in need, or lending my ear, or some free advice. This is always going to come back to you tenfold, and it'll come back in a different form, in a form that you the least expect. But that's the way the law of abundance works. The more you give out, the more you receive. And it's the same with money, financial money, which I'll get to in a point. But it has to be a free flow of energy. So don't be afraid, even though things might be frightening at the moment, to give out. Give out of your time and resources in a generous way. The other point was the point about abundance. We are facing a tremendous amount of fear right now. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to my work, to my job, to my wallet? I might be afraid, or you might be afraid, to make ends meet, to pay your groceries, and that's totally understandable. But when you go into fear, it's one of the lowest, basically, emotions you can feel with respect to the law of attraction. You always attract to you what you vibrate. That is a law of the universe, and it always applies no matter what times you find yourself in. There's no exception. So if you're vibrating lack, a frequency of lack, you're going to attract more lack. And collectively, a lot of us, the planet is in fear. There's a lot of fear. So we are vibrating at a low frequency. It's so important to raise your vibration. I've said it in my conferences and I've said it in many of my books. Your vibrations are more valuable than gold or your bank account, because that's really determining what you're attracting. As an example, over the weekend, I found myself dancing to a DJ who's playing music on social media. I totally abandoned myself freely to the moment. I was in joy, I was in happiness, I was vibrating at such an amazingly high frequency that I totally forgot about what's going on in the world, my fears about lack, what's going to happen to some of the contracts I'm working on. And lo and behold, the next day I had all these emails waiting for me in my inbox, positive emails for all kinds of things. Not just contracts, just positive emails. So I was vibrating at a high frequency, the frequency of joy, the frequency of happiness and passion. And so that's the vibration that I'm attracting. So don't be in fear. And this brings me to the next point, which is there is enough to go around. Esther Hicks teaches this in her courses on the law of attraction with Abraham. There is no lack. There is no such thing as lack. You might be thinking, well, if there's no more soup at the grocery store, I'll never have soup. And we feel this because we go to the store, we watch television, there are these images of people emptying out the shelves. So we fear lack, we fear there's not enough to go around. And that's totally normal. But that's an illusion. There is more than enough to go around. It might just be that tonight you're not going to have soup, you're going to have chili instead. The shelves are going to fill up eventually. And this is applicable to everything. So you might think, oh my goodness, I lost my job. With the circumstances that we're facing right now, there's no chance that I'll ever find a job. And that's limited thinking, that's lack thinking, that's not going to get you anywhere. You have to go beyond that thinking and understand that the only lack is in your mind. There is no such thing as lack. It's another law of the universe. The universe is very abundant no matter the circumstances. And right now it might be a week where you take notes about, the kind of work you'd love to do. Whereas next week it might be a better time to send your resume in a week or two. So just prepare, think abundantly, reach out to some contacts, do some research, maybe do an online course this week to prepare you for the next phase in your life and understand that there's enough to go around. And my next point is about serenity. It's super important to try to be serene in these circumstances. I know it's hard. It's hard for me too. So I have some tips and tricks or things that I do to help maintain my serenity in these challenging times. And I'm going to list them out for you. Going for a walk in nature, taking a bath with Epsom salts or a shower, aromatherapy, lavender oil on my pillow, reading a book, an inspiring book, taking a book off my shelf and just opening it at a random page, particularly a spiritual book or a self-help book. I find that I automatically go to the chapter that I needed to read that day and it calms me down. The other thing that helps me is listening to ambient music on YouTube. There are tons and tons and tons of videos with relaxing, soothing sounds that I play as I'm working. And that also soothes my spirit, soothes my soul, and makes me feel very serene. I also have stopped watching the news. And I know some friends have said to me, well, it's important for you to be informed, to know what's going on. Sure, it is. But if it's creating havoc in my ability to write, to be creative, then I think I should just shut it off. And that's my personal decision. I don't watch the news. I will catch up on headlines through my Twitter feed, and that's it. So those are the ways that I'm staying serene during these times. And I hope these have been helpful. I hope this brings hope for you. And together we will get through this. Thank you very much for listening, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.